Hello, my name is Jeremy Fox. This is my CPM cross-platform mobile development week 2 reflection video. First thing, what did I find most valuable this week? Actually, there was two things that I really found quite valuable. While I'm talking about one, I will try to pull up the other one here real quick in my browser so I can give you a link to it. So one thing I found real valuable was just was actually the quiz, because it opened my eyes to some things that I've never really had to use before. Because you use all these third-party libraries, or even like Ruby on Rails. Anybody who's ever experienced Ruby on Rails, you have active record. So you set up your models and what kind of relations you want, and it does everything behind the scenes for you. So you don't have to write all those crazy long SQL select statements and inserts and updates and join on this and that. You don't have to worry about any of that. Same thing with like core data. You don't have to really worry about all those statements. So having something force me to go look that stuff up and figure out how to do it was actually quite valuable, because now I kind of understand what's going on behind the scenes more. I kind of knew a little, but never actually writing it out myself. It definitely helps understand. And then so the second thing that I found really valuable when I pull this up here is this third-party library called Objective-C SQL Query Builder. It is on GitHub. I'm sure if I just search for this, because this is in my actual repository. So if we search for this, oops, we will probably find it. Yeah, this is it right here. So this is the original repository. There is the link. So this is pretty nice. It allows you to work directly with a SQLite database using their classes. And the way they have their classes constructed and the way you set things up, it's nice because you're kind of writing out the statements in a way, but you're kind of not. So like, for example, if we look at the wiki and we look at the building the CRUD operations, so it's like, here's some examples of all CRUD operations. So we have create, which is aka insert. So it's showing you this is what the actual insert statement would look like, but this is what it would be using their library. So you would instantiate a new Zim SQL insert statement, and then you would say SQL into the table you want, and then SQL column, give it the column, the value, and the value. And you just do that over and over again. So you give it the column and then the value, column, value. And then you spit out the actual SQL statement by just calling statement on your SQL object. And then you pass it to the this ZimDB connection, and you give it the data source, which is the SQLite. It's the SQLite file name, and then execute the statement. And then same thing for all of these. So here's another select statement, and then so like this one is I'm sorry, this is a select statement, the read. So this is a select statement. You give it the column, from, where, pass it an operator, and then he gives you some helpers like this equal to, this value, and then you can continue adding on wheres and order by and group by. So you're kind of writing it out in a way, but it's just through object, kind of an object-oriented way of doing it, I guess you could think about it. There's also update and delete, but I use this in my iOS project this week, and I'm going back so I can show you, because I thought it came out pretty nice. So if we go into my view controller, I just did everything in the view controller. So I have some constants here set up for all the tables and columns and everything. So if we go down, first thing I do is create my database, and then I just keep a reference to it because I have to use it throughout this class. But I give it the iTunes search DB, and then if it's created, I first drop all tables just so that every launch it just starts fresh. Drop everything, create the tables, insert the data, then set the data by pulling all the records that I want out. So for example, this one I'm passing in filter options all, so I just want all the records, and then reloading my table view. And then here's the drop all tables. And then so if we come in here and we look at drop table, you can see I'm instantiating a drop table statement. I'm giving it the table I want to drop, and then I'm saying exists yes, because if you don't do that, it will throw an exception. if you try to drop a table that doesn't exist. So you can pass yes, and it will ignore the exception if it doesn't exist. And then, so if we come down here, we take a look at here's create results table. So I'm instantiating a SQL create table statement, saying here's the table to create, the column, the type, default, and column type all the way down through here. And then here's an insert. So we insert into results table, column value, all over and over again. And I thought it came out pretty cool. So that was really helpful. Let's see. What did you find most challenging? The quiz. So it was definitely helpful to me to understand those things, having to look that stuff up. But some of those things near the end, especially about all those joins and everything, and updating things that have to have a join, and how SQLite doesn't support a join statement in an update. So you have to kind of figure out how that works. But yeah, that was pretty challenging. What would you have done differently if you could? I don't know as if I would have done anything really differently. I feel like everything went pretty smooth. List a few things that could use more clarification. Really, the only thing that could use more clarification is on the quiz. Hopefully I don't, but if I get anything wrong, some good clarification, some really good clear clarification as to what I did wrong. Because the thing is, with those SQL statements, if you think about it, there's probably 10 or 20 different ways I could have written a lot of those statements, and it would have still worked. So, if the way I did it wasn't what was expected, then just a clear definition of exactly what was expected, I guess, would be the only thing that I would need clarification on. And that's about it. So that'll wrap up the video. Thank you for watching.